Welcome to Solar Black, and congrats on digging in to the nitty-gritties regarding the decision to go solar, heat pump, split system, battery, etc. A full hybrid solution that will put a lot of money back into your pocket while adding value to your home. My name is Matt, and I'm going to go through all of this information that we are going to be looking at right now. So I had the same conversations over and over and over, and I just thought it would save me and yourself huge amounts of time understanding the process, and hopefully most of the questions that you'll have will naturally be answered through this virtual energy assessment. My job is simple. All I want to do is give you clarity towards making a decision. So without further ado, let's dive in. Ultimately, this is the big problem we are wanting to solve. Combine our bills. This is the outcome over a 25-year period. Electricity rates have increased by 20% year on year over the last 5 years. And gas has been increasing more aggressively, and inflation statistics and all of that stuff is congruent with this problem. And we no longer need to pay this, as there is a solution: one hybrid energy system. And the reason I mention 25 years is because that is the warranty period that panels come with. So we know we can rest assured that once we've gone with a solar panel product brand range, we have at least 25 years of power generation. And if they're continually increasing prices, and we know that they've been increasing prices at a much higher rate than this, but if I just wanted to be conservative, we calculated with the amount we're paying per month, compounding at 10% over a 25-year period. So right now, what I would love you to do is literally copy and paste this ChatGPT prompt, open up ChatGPT, put the prompt in, and see what your equation looks like. We want to get highly, highly specific. There has to be a number in your mind to justify the capital outlay or the financial payback period if you decide to go with finance. And all what we're looking to do now is understand and ascertain, what am I unhappy to give our energy retailers, and how urgently do we want to solve this problem? Now the next question is, what size of a system are we looking for? How are we going to get those rebates? And furthermore, what is your budget? And how big do you want to go to nullify that cost to as small amount as possible? Now, there's no wrong answer. Some people just want the solar and they want the 80% savings, and then they're going to add a heat pump for the gas savings, but they're not going to go for a battery. They don't want to go 100% saving on it. They're happy with an 80%, 75% saving. That gives us clarity as to how much our budget is and how much we want to spend towards solving this problem. So the very first thing we want to do is we want to take our energy bill, specifically our electricity bill, and we want to ascertain how many kilowatt hours on average we are utilizing and what the cost of that is. The cost is going to help us understand the savings that we can expect, and the usage. So generally on your second or third page on your electricity bill will tell you what your daily usage average is. You also want to understand what you're using in summer, what you're using in winter. You want to understand if you are going to be looking at a heat pump and you're going to be looking at a split system or a ducted electrical side system. This will give us an indication on how big we need to go. If you have an EV or a hybrid, or you're going to go that route in the future, you want a bigger system. If you are wanting to add a split system and really crank it up for the cooling and heating, you want a bigger system. The second aspect is our gas bill. Now, what you're paying on your gas bill will also indicate your type of savings that the split and the heat pump system will provide. And the final third element of this process is our rebates. How do we get them? How much are they? Now, to simplify everything, currently there are federal rebates, which there is no barrier to entry. Everyone gets the federal rebate. But in Victoria, you need your notice of assessment, okay, which effectively means If your tax returns are up to date in your MyGov app, you will be able to locate and find your notice of assessment. Your notice of assessment indicates how many state rebates you can get. The reason for this is because the state rebates are all means tested. If there's one name on the title deed, you only need one notice of assessment. But let's say if partners have bought the house together, then you will need two notice of assessments. If you only have one, then you do not qualify for the rebate. If one person earns less than $210,000 per year, and it's only in one name, then you qualify for the rebate. If both of you earn over 210, but only one name is on the title deed, you qualify for the Victorian rebate. So once again, federal rebates automatically applied, and that depends on the size of the system you're getting. The bigger you go, the more the rebate comes off on the eventual bill. These are the three things you need to show your installer, retailer, or broker: electricity bill, your gas bill, and the notice of assessment for all home owners. Now that we understand if we need to go for solar, go for a heat pump and a split system, potentially a battery, and we can or can't get the rebates, the next step is choosing how big of a system we are going to go. Again, we go back to our electricity bill, we have a look at our usage, we see what we are using in summer, we see how much we are using in winter, and we allocate the right system based on that. Obviously considering the future usage if you are planning to upgrade some further things or increase or get the car, etc. From here, you've got your winter period, right? So on the 21st of June, which is our lowest production for our solar time, then your 21st of December, which will be your highest production. You kind of want to work those two things and see what works out best. So this now leads me to the aspect below this video are a bunch of pages talking about the process. In a nutshell, you want to find someone on the Solar Victorian list as an accredited solar installer. Those are the only companies that can offer the rebates. And the second aspect, and not all the companies will have this, but it has to be NETCC approved, which means they can do and help you with the finance with the housing energy upgrade discount, which again is laid out below as you read through the process. So at this stage, you should have a good understanding of how much you'll be saving, what it's worth to you to get this problem solved, what size of a system you would need for your home, and whether or not to go with the heat pumps and splits and batteries, etc. You will also at this stage understand if you can or can't get the rebate. So now you want to know what your best options are. One, you can scroll on Facebook, you can search on Google, and you yourself can go through the manual process of requesting quotes and information and linking up with a whole bunch of salespeople that will explain a whole bunch of stuff to you. A lot of people are skeptical because they've inquired online and everything's a scam and etc. etc. The people looking for the cheapest price don't really care too much about the understanding and the quality and the skill needed to install the systems that is going to be foolproof, right? But even going through Google or Meta, you will find good competitive pricing. You will find a whole range of options. There are thousands of installers. As long as they are all from the Solar Victorian list, fine. You just have to have a little bit of understanding with the jargon to make sure that you're not caught. Okay, but this is a good option and your cheapest option if you are more price sensitive. Your second option is through a comparison quote website. This is your solar quotes, your solar choice, etc. Also, good options. They are slightly pricier than the guys that are advertising for themselves. However, they have generally been vetted a little bit more. And yes, you are going to find people reviewing them and being scathing, but you're going to find that across the board no matter what. The only real criticism that I can find with any sort of credibility for these types of companies is that if they are giving you 3 quotes, those installers are paying for those leads, and then they're all fighting to get down to the cheapest price, to get that deal across the line. Some of the feedback will be quite negative regarding the sales process because they're trying to be sleazy and get that through. It's just that they feel that pressure to get the deal over the line, knowing full well that other installers are quoting on the same job. And finally, you've got solar black. Most of the conversations and customers I serve pretty much all just really enjoy the experience with me on a personal level. They love the fact that I could come out and do the site inspection, that I could do the final audit, that I could assist them with their SolarVic rebate application, that I could help them with their financial application, and everything was done in the comfort of their own home. I would come through, make sure all the photos were taken, make sure all the designs were sorted, make sure all of the paperwork was finalized, and they really enjoyed the process. So all of these options are fantastic. It just really depends on what you're looking for and how fast you're looking for and how much time you have to do it. Let me just assist you with some common traps that a lot of people get very irritated with. Number one, there is an Australian-wide 10-day cooling off period, which means anything you sign with an installer, you are allowed to change your mind and back out of the deal within 10 working days. The next aspect is whenever you request a quote, make sure they have qualified your rebates before they have put it within the quotation. In other words, they need to have seen your notice of assessment before including that in. Some very widely misunderstood jargon here. Zero upfront just means putting the entire amount of money you need on finance. That's it. That's what that means. You are still paying every single month for your solar, but you don't have to have cash out of pocket. Most of the advertising I see online is always prices. These are the prices, lowest prices, etc., etc. They never add the extras that will inevitably be involved. Very common within the construction industry. They give you the smallest price, you accept the quote, and then the deposit is paid, and then all of a sudden all these extra prices are included that need to be paid on top of. The term zero net cost solar is not free. It does not mean free. What it means is that the amount that you're paying towards the bank or whatever your financial partner is versus the savings that you are getting from your solar heat pump split battery system, that works in such a way that it balances out perfectly, causing a zero net effect, which means you're not paying extra for your solar. Your saving is covering the amount that you would have paid anyway. Any company guaranteeing feed-in tariffs, we're on the verge of saying goodbye to the feed-in tariff. We were at 60 cents per kilowatt hour for the first around 15 years ago. It's come down. We are now very close to it being zero, right? Hence why the batteries have now come into play with the rebates and are on offer, etc., etc. If a company is promising you 90% savings, just know, take it with a pinch of salt. It's generally a lead generation company wanting to get your inquiry so they can pass that on to an installer for an appointment setter and a closer to finish up on the deal. In my experience, installers will use the terminology between 60 and 80%, right? Your lead generation companies will be offering 90%. And finally, there are so many guys offering zero interest or interest-free plans. I don't think anyone would go for the interest-free payment plan if they knew they were paying an additional up to 16% on top of their system up front. And that's why a lot of these guys will offer you a price. You say you're not interested in the finance, you want to do cash, and then they take that fee off. That is the difference. That is why everyone thinks a cash deal will save you money. It's not the case. They were going to whack you on top of that. Rather go for a green loan, control and reduce your interest rate, but you can pay it off whenever you want, and you're getting a cheaper system in return. It works out to be a much better deal. However, it is more difficult to get the green loan financed than a interest-free payment. So it's easier to get the finance secured through that, but more expensive. And so your financially unsavvy will go for the interest-free because the installers or the salespeople don't really want to mention the nitty-gritties around that process. At this point, you should have had all the clarity you need. You may have 1 or 2 or 3 extra questions. That's fine, that's natural, that's normal. But what we're wanting to do is understand, is this problem worth solving? From my perspective, it's a no-brainer. These are the big 3 things that I want to bring your attention to, which you will obviously read in your own time. You want to see what size you need. These are the prices. So for full transparency, full disclosure, you know exactly what type of ranges I can secure as a Solar Black broker. On the rare occasion, sometimes the installers are a bit light on work and they will bring down those prices and offer a promotion, etc., etc. But as a rule of thumb, these are the range of costs that are available with a full breakdown of all the extras depending on your roof, cable. Well, I've mentioned all there. Finally, the cost of finance. So you have a very, very strong picture on what it's going to cost to put this thing on a financial plan versus how much you'll save on your gas and electricity. And you can dot those two together because ultimately we are looking to save money, increase the value of our property, and so that we can reallocate that money in the future towards our kids, something else, a holiday. So thank you for your time. I've tried to go as thorough and as fast as possible. So the next step is simple. Please read the pages below this video. Read the whole thing. Take as much time as you need. You have two options. One, you can follow the process in the pages below this video and go and secure your own deal. This is a good option if you have time. Or you would have enjoyed this so much, liked the South African accent, the Springbok supporter, and the overall general vibe in which you've experienced this thing. And you'll say, you know what, I want Matt to secure a deal on my behalf. Now remember, I've put all the pricing there so you know exactly what type of range. If you say, mate, that's well within my budget, I'm very happy to pay for that. I want a premium installer, I want premium products, and I don't want to mess around. And you've looked through the process and you like my approach, then what I would like you to do is fill out your details at the bottom of the page again. That tells me that you are eager on a timeline, that you would like to get this thing sorted and you would like me to source a deal for you. From there, we will have another call and I can start to secure some offers, answer some of the questions that maybe have not been answered in this video, and we can just build and take it from there. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it really helpful, informative, enjoyable. Read the pages below, enjoy the process, take your time, really let the information sink in, and we'll chat soon. Thanks again. Cheers, mate. Bye.